Good evening, everyone. My name is Oscar Fuentes, and I'm your newly appointed Emergency Management Director for your organization. And thank you for allowing me to be here tonight to give you guys a quick overview of what my plans are for the next 4 to 5 years. So, just a little bit of background about myself. I did 20 years in the fire service. I was a captain for the last 5 years and a battalion chief for the last two. So one station, small department, average plenty of calls, plenty of emergencies, both in district and mutual aid. I have a master's degree in human resources and emergency management, and I have completed my bachelor's degree in fire administration as well, along with a variety of courses. With the ICS courses, I was appointed our public information officer for our organization, and I was able also to participate in some level large scale drills and some large scale incidents that we had over in our district. So I have a little bit of experience in the emergency management role and the incident commander role, and so I'll be sharing some of that stuff with you guys. But just wanted to give a quick introduction about myself. So we'll get right into this, and something that I've kind of used in the fire service is the last bullet point. I'll kind of work my way down from the down up. Is what kind of firefighter do you want to be? Do you want responding to your community or to your home? That's something that I've used before. Be the firefighter you want coming to your family. Do you want somebody responding that kind of knows what they're doing, not interested, not motivated? That's something that I try to push a lot, or I tried to push a lot. And it's something that I'd like to bring over to the emergency management side. What kind of team would we want to be to go help your community, to go help your own family? How would you like your emergency management team to help you recover from disaster, whether it's man-made or natural? How would you like your emergency management team or your fire department or your law enforcement to support you? Something that I think I carry deeply, is how do you want to be treated? Who do you want responding to your family? Here in the emergency management team, something we're going to push for is we're going to head into the storm as a team. This is something that's very important, because whether we're doing this before, during, or after an incident, we have to show up together. We have to show up as a team. We're going to strategically have to set our teams at different areas, and we need to be all on the same page. Communication is key and will be key. And as you all know, many fire departments, many after action reviews, communication is usually the breakdown. So that's something that we really need to focus on, creating a plan and making sure that everybody's on the same page, following it, and listening to feedback and being able to adjust as we can. Having several plans so that we can work together around the emergency that we may be encountered, or an area that may need mitigation and stuff like that. So fire departments, law enforcement, we don't want harm for our communities, but when something does occur, we're the first ones they call, from a simple cut to a finger, to house fire, to floods, to different things, that wildfires, different things that people need help in. This is where they call us. So working as a team is very important. They said all these are key partners here. We can add nurses, we can add hospitals, we can add our city managers, we can add our higher ups, but we all need to make sure that we're working as a team for our community. So some effectiveness during emergency incidents that would be bringing or implementing during my 4 to 5 year stay, right, for emergency management. We need to make sure that we have a community impact, meaning we need to make sure that we're out there before the emergency. Public information officers sharing information, whether it's a wildland urban interface facility, whether it's a flash flood, whether it's a simple smoke detector. Having that impact on our community is going to have that buy-in from us, from them as well too. here in Arizona, we activate our EOC, our Emergency Operations Center. We operate it for big events. We recently had a something called a Tour de Tucson, which is a bike ride, 102 miles. Emergency Operations Center is activated. Emergency Management is activated. Tracking the route, which traffic signals need to be held, how many law enforcement officers do we need? Our fire department's going to be impacted responding because of these road closures. These are all just different things that were brought into the table and had to be mitigated prior to this event happening. Weather was a big factor this year. We were getting some rain and some weather and some wind, and we still had the tour go on. So that's another factor that came into play where we had to take that into consideration on the road conditions, on road closures and traffic, and that it may cause the bystanders, right, the community members, families that are coming out to see these people. So we're going to have a systemic approach. We're going to prepare, we're going to respond, we're going to mitigate, we're going to help the recovery effort as much as we can. We're going to incorporate these specialized teams not only on the fire side, meaning specialized teams as in like technical rescue, trench rescue, collapse rescue, sift water rescue, but specialized teams in emergency management. Our public information officers, our logistic people, our operations people. We're going to implement them all together, and we're going to have all this systemic approach so that we can all have an understanding and make sure that we all have an end goal, which is our communities. Fire departments now are all in all hazard response. We just went through a public health pandemic a couple of years ago. Emergency management was obviously activated from FEMA to different departments in order to figure out what was trying to go on. The quarantine, the sickness, the symptoms. It was all new, but we were still trying to keep track of it. Fire departments were getting pulled into hospitals, into getting clinics. Nurses were getting pulled out into the field. So there was a lot going on with that, which we were able to, finally get a grasp on. But in order to be able to be effective in these categories, we got to be able to provide our training, right? We have to have training for our members. We have to have buy-in from our members of why we want to build our emergency management team. And I think that's key right now is being able to explain the why. Why do we need to train? Why do we need to have a bigger emergency management team? Why do we need to have the ICS system in place? Why do we need to have fire departments activate the emergency response team or the emergency operations center or the emergency management working together, and why and the end goal of it, right? It's always, we get a lot of why questions, so that's something really big. Professional development, again, that becomes the training part of it. Reaching out to different emergency managers, reaching out to different cities, districts, tribal entities. What are their needs? What would they like to see on a training part of it? What are some needs they may have? What is something unique from each organization or emergency management that they may be bringing to the table if something is in need. The fire department role, crucial, right? They're the first responders along with the law enforcement. They paint a picture for emergency management, whether it's the before, during, or after. They're providing feedback to emergency management, positive, negative. There's a communication team there, and it just continues to grow. From ALS care, BLS care, and like you mentioned, the specialty teams, and setting up the ICS system for the emergency management team to come in. Some more emergency management trends that we have currently is response, right? Currently right now, fire departments our response times are increasing due to staffing, due to trucks being shut down. Some are still good, some are increasing a little bit, some are getting better. But something that we need to do is realize that is having an impact on our community, and we do need to start working towards building those relationships with our state legislators and our city managers and governors and things like that as well. So being able to present the picture and being able to, again, to explain the why. Gaining and building trust in our community is crucial. Having buy-in from that community, Now we can reach a lot more community members with social media, with the television, a bunch of different ways that we can reach them, flyers and community events and public education. These are all different ways that we can reach our community, answer questions, and hopefully build their trust so that we can be there as in a time of need. Um, Building equity improves preparedness. Having that diversity in our team is going to be crucial because that's going to help us identify, like I said, those unique areas or those unique needs for different communities. As I mentioned, I worked for a tribal department, and we had some unique needs. Our community was a little bit different, and building our own emergency management team helped us get that information across to the city managers and to the city department, the city emergency management. And we've been able to work recently lately a lot, especially now with the wildland trend, the urban, wildland urban interface. We've been getting pulled into more to work with different partners. So it's been really good, being able to have that unique need for communities. Partnerships, as I mentioned, is great. We are now working with state and federal agencies. We're a tribal department, so we were able to work with the BIA, with the Bureau of Indian Affairs, state cooperators, and we were able to work also with private sectors and elected officials, stuff like that. Because we started reaching out and expressing our risk management, response plans, and we've been sharing that information back and forth, and we're going to keep pushing forward. And then also, like I mentioned, the wildland stuff. We get some pretty big fires here in Arizona, the California area, New Mexico. And as I mentioned, we've been pushing to work together from the BIA to the state cooperators. Our mutual aid system here in Arizona, I think, is phenomenal. We were with mutual aid with 6 different departments for fire districts. The city was, requesting resources. We had a big mutual aid, not only for an emergency, but for a double line of duty that we had. So mutual aid has been great for us. It's something that we've been working on and something that we keep improving. Obviously, certifications, apparatus types, public alerting systems, all that stuff comes into play. But there's just some goals that we have planned for the next 4 to 5 years. So with that, we look forward to working with you guys. And if you guys have any questions, please feel free to reach out, and we will keep in touch, and we'll see you soon.